Hi, everybody. So this is your announcement for April 22nd, 2019 for History 202. I can't believe that there are 2 weeks left of classes and then final exams week. So we're really winding down to the end. Anyway, we're back at the college now. The water has been restored. So if you have face-to-face classes, everything's go. Okay, so plan to go to class. And we're just moving along here. So this week we are starting Module 6, and I was already able to grade your discussions from last week. I guess one of the bonuses of not having the campus be open is I just worked on grading. So that's all done. But now we start Module 6, and this is a 2-week module because this contains your major paper, which is really like your final exam, okay, for the class. So the topic of Module 6, we're just winding down the end of the Cold War to the 21st century. So this is it. So in this module, there's a few different things going on. So the end of the Cold War is roughly 1989 to 1991, when the Soviet Union falls and ceases to exist. The enemy that had existed for, since 1947 for the United States, this communist country, just stops existing. And so Russia, as the country now is called, or the Russian Federation, begins to chart its path towards democracy. And I would argue that's something they're struggling with right now. But anyway, that's another conversation. So that's where we're at. And I guess, at that time in 1991, many of us thought that life was going to be great and there will be peace and harmony throughout the world. And there is, I think, a whole segment of the world that a lot of people just didn't think about, which is unfortunate. So anyway, we're going to look at that period up to the present. So in this module, you're to read in your textbook chapters 40 and 41. I have also written a commentary which will be very important for you to read. So make sure you click on all these pages and read my commentary. It gives just a brief history of kind of the United States in international conflicts since 1947. So, and that's going to be important for your paper. Okay, so it's really important that you look at all of the instructions. So your foreign policy memo is your final paper, and I'm just going to kind of click over to those instructions so I can go over them with you. And like I said, this is due, I should tell you when this is due, on May 3rd. All right, so that's next Friday. That's due May 3rd. And so, kind of similar to the other papers you've written for our class, you're going to be an advisor to the president and the current president. And so this president has asked you to give him an analysis of the history of U.S. involvement in international conflicts. And then he wants you to give him a recommendation as to whether or not and to what extent the United States should become involved in international conflicts that are happening right now. All right. So the first part of the paper is and his historical analysis, and so you'll use your textbook for this. Okay. So and you're going to analyze 2 conflicts, and the conflicts that you can choose from are the Vietnam War, the Korean War, or the wars in Iraq. And I'll just add Afghanistan as well, because that certainly should be considered. So these wars have taken place between 1947. The module says to 2014, but we'll just say to the present. So those, no, to 2014. Okay, so just to 2014. And then after that, so that's part 1. Then part 2, you're going to analyze and apply those facts. So take that history and make a recommendation to the president as to whether or not the United States should become involved in further military action in international conflicts. All right, so you're going to have to evaluate the history and make a determination as to where the United States should go forward from here. Okay, so this is an important paper. Like I said, this is really your final exam. Okay, so it's a major paper. You can do research. I've written a paragraph there in the instructions that you can do research and bring in secondary sources. Well, your textbook's a secondary source, but bring in other secondary sources. And as always, this has to be cited and given appropriate attribution to your sources in MLA format. Okay, that's very important. Please don't ignore that. So you need your in-text citations, you need your bibliography page at the end. And so the length of this is about 1,000 to 1,500 words. So it's, a few pages. Okay, so that is what you'll be doing for this week. Next week, because like I said, this is due on May 3rd. Okay, so if you have any questions about the instructions, please ask me this week, okay, so that I can help you and clarify any questions that you might have. All right, so I would recommend getting started on this this week so that you're not at the last moment trying to get it done, okay, because there aren't any extensions here. We're at the end of the semester. There's no more time, okay? So that's what we're doing. Okay, so I will stop there. I want to wish you all a really good week. I hope you had a nice Easter holiday if you celebrate Easter, or Passover if that's what you celebrate, or nothing at all, just a nice weekend if that's where you're at. So that's it, and I will see you again next time. We'll have one more announcement next week. Bye.